everyone. Welcome to our new podcast called Mother, Me, Keisha. Yes, Keisha from The Truth Show and Keisha's Gossips and Truths.
And daughter, me, Alexis, from who's currently in college right now. So.
Al-Azaya Chat, which means...
AKA Random Chat.
Yes, that's what it means. Hello all, I'm here again with my daughter again, who, as I said in the last podcast, has been away doing midterms and so on. Oh, as I stated before, when she's not available, my husband would fill in for her.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone, but I'm happy to be back, and my guilt is not laid to rest, to know that my stepfather can fill in for me.
With that said, let's get to the podcast. And in these two subject podcasts, we will be talking about the drama surrounding the divorce of Kanye and Kim Kardashian, West, and the current state of the school system. Yeah, we're getting really deep in some information here, people. You know, I've done many videos about these two, and I can honestly say I didn't expect this at first upon them getting married. Mm-hmm. The reason being because they had a lot in common. And they knew each other for a long time, okay? I also knew how long Kanye liked Kim. I also knew Kanye had old-fashioned qualities when it came to marriage. Mm-hmm. If he was in, he was deeply in. Mm-hmm. But then we started hearing about him awakening and seeking God, something I knew Kim didn't partake in. That was more Kourtney's thing. I knew then that Shallow Kim and her marriage to Kanye was numbered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And not to mention Kanye's Twitter rants. And you know Kim, she hates anything that taints her image.
Oh, yeah, she definitely do. So when I started hearing about Meek Mill and she was doing this prison reform, and I said this in a video I did about them, I was a little leery, although I didn't hear any information of her doing anything when it came to prison reform. And I thought he was out of prison, hence they meeting at this patio in this grand hotel. So apparently he's not in jail anymore.
Yeah.
But... that's what she claimed that they were meeting for.
But it's interesting that she would do this in the first place. It's so left field for her.
Yeah, it is. It's so left field. Well, Kanye got her into being serious about things. She always had the lawyer aspect. She got that trait from her father. But it's just strange because there is no imperative proof that she did any legal, affiliation or anything with Meek Mill at all, aside from what she said they had that meeting for.
Yeah.
So that definitely questioned things, but I think she cleared that up. And, Kanye West went online and said sorry and apologized and yada, yada, yada. And it was over as far as I'm concerned. And then we hear about Drake.
Oh, my gosh.
Drake. Drake has been another Kanye. They've been going at it because Drake is so jealous of Kanye. Why? Because I think their age gap is dramatically different.
It is.
Kanye's in his 40s, and what is Drake? He's in his 30s still? Or he just got into his 30s?
I know he's, very young. I know that. Because he was in his 20s when he was in his prime. I mean, I'm not saying that he isn't now.
So he's probably in his early 30s, right? I'm assuming he's in his early 30s.
It's either that or late 20s. I mean, he definitely look old now. Okay, the thing about is with Drake, he's been taking a lot of background stats when it comes to music. I'm not saying, when I say background stats, I'm talking about not more as active. When it comes to doing producing, I mean, he hasn't really been in music videos. I mean, his most recent video, sorry if I'm incorrect, but his most recent music video was with Justin Bieber, and he was
he had a music video with Justin Bieber?
I mean, Justin Bieber was the person featured in the music video, even though Drake was the person who did the music and stuff like that for it. So he has been really in the background for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but he seemed to have this ample amount of money. I know he started off acting, that I know. He's a very good actor. That's what he started off in. He just kind of just trickled off into this hip-hop world. It started off as a hobby, but he was good at it, so the rest is history. But
I wonder why he been taking a lot of the backseat of a lot of stuff, including when it comes to his music.
I don't know. Maybe he's getting back to acting, or maybe he just taking a break or so. Since this COVID thing, he's gonna come back out. But the thing with Drake is he loves starting feuds with people who he First of all, I can't even say he started feuds with people he can get away with stuff, but he started feuds with anybody. I think he started a feud with Jay-Z at some point, Chris Brown at some point. You know, Chris Brown he's like a Rihanna. Those two have a lot in common, believe it or not. So it's not even a surprise that they fell out. But he just likes to start feuds with people. But I wonder if he does it for publicity standards when he get ready to come out with something.
I mean, you have to wonder that.
Yeah, but the feud with Kanye has been a long time, and it kind of escalated when he got with Kim, you know. And he have shown and been shown a lot of, like, you know what, think about it, I think Drake and Kim would make a really freaking good couple.
You really think that?
You gotta understand, Kanye, he started off as a really narcissistic, shallow, a fashion icon, he was, and then he got with her, and that all those things wasn't important anymore. You know, he didn't care about the way he dressed. You know, normally he really cared about the way he dressed.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't bother to notice the downfall of Kanye West, because I definitely did. Because before, he used to care a lot about how...
He was very shallow.
Yeah, I mean, he used to care a lot about how people perceived him in the media. Okay, first of all, go through his old music. This is what I'm talking about. Listen to the music and the words he's saying, and then you will realize the difference between his old music and his current music. There's a huge
he changed substantially.
There's a huge difference in the topics that he talks about. It's not the same anymore. He doesn't talk about rolling up in a Benz or whatever expensive car
certain other rappers are still bragging about, even in their 50s.
Yeah. There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because he does not care about the same things anymore.
That's true.
But it could be because he's a father, so.
Yeah, it could be because of father, because, you know, when you close to that number 40, you'd be like, okay, like you said, because you're a father. But this still didn't change the attitude of some people who believe money is the most important thing. Yeah. But I just think that when he started not caring about the things that made his wife who she was, aside from the sex tape, things wasn't going to be right. Because, you know what I'm saying, Kim Kardashian, one of the most narcissistic, shallow, vain people on the fucking planet. I mean to be cruel, I'm not judging. These are facts. That's how she makes her money. You know, her beauty, her sexual image. The woman is almost 40 and she's still tramping around like she's in her 20s.
But you know, a lot of people are going to disagree with you about that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the horny and shallow people who see these people as icons and goddesses and try to compare themselves with this plastic vain version don't even know how much money it takes to keep that crap up. I'm sure they would disagree with me. I honestly don't care. But the truth is the truth. I mean, she makes her money from her look, so I can understand she has to keep it primed. She got to keep it Botox. She got to keep it injected. She got to keep it lift. She got to keep it siliconed. I can go on, but you get the picture.
I really feel like it takes a lot of effort to maintain and try to make sure you look perfect. Which, by the way, perfection really isn't a thing in reality. No one ever is perfect.
I know. It really isn't. You know, it was really crazy, you know, talking about those two is I'm kind of happy they're not together. I mean, I'm a little hurt because of the kids standard. First of all, they have very talented and beautiful kids. You know, North is very talented. She gonna be a very talented young lady, I see. But I hope she don't follow in her mother's footsteps. I'm praying she don't follow in Kylie's footsteps. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. But if Kim have anything to say with it, I'm just saying. I mean, I hope she's not like that, but you just never know, you know, because she, I'm not going to lie. I love Kim's makeup. I love her clothes. Well, not the clothes she wears, but the clothes that she sells. She do have talent. I got to give her props with that. I really have to give her a salute with that. I give props to people who deserve it. But I agree with Kanye. I hope she don't follow in her footsteps. You know what I mean? Because
a lot of people don't
look who she was raised by.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kim kind of gives me the vibe of a very cold businesswoman, if that makes any sense.
She do, but she can be naive to certain things too. I'm starting to realize.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like she's a businesswoman in all aspects. I'm saying she gives me the vibe sometimes.
Not business in terms of what she likes to publicize.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Like someone who I'm talking about the cliche. I'm not talking about like a real businesswoman.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about the cliche.
She's good, yeah.
Yeah, like she, the whole vibe of being very stylish, being very put together.
Yeah, she is.
Handle money.
Yeah.
And be very much about themselves and then their own self-interest and income.
Yeah, whoever can not approve, whoever can contribute to her way of lifestyle in some monetary format. Because if you're not giving her that positive monetary format, she don't have anything to do with you. I wouldn't even feel right having that tunnel vision way of living, because your friends is really not your friends.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you depict who really a true friend and who isn't, when everyone around you is using everyone? You know what I mean? What kind of life is that? Because that's literally the life they live. Aside from her family, it's probably the only honest people who probably are with her or who are together, who she can probably trust, which is okay, I guess. But I would get sick of that whole group of people, to be perfectly honest. But hey, at least they have a really big family, so I guess that's a good thing. But Kanye, on the other hand, I knew their marriage was being seriously just counting down until like the buzzer hits, because when he stopped being shallow and he started doing that God thing, I was like, oh yeah, this is not. Because then I started seeing the behind the scenes footage of those two.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you have to wear that? And she's like, I did everything you told me to do, Kanye. I'm paraphrasing. And da-da-da. He stormed away or whatnot. So it was...
Because he wanted her to like...
cover up more, and she wanted to be naked on Instagram pictures because it gets the most views.
Yeah, but I mean, they had a lot of differences, fundamental differences, which is something that Kanye used to not care about, but now he cared about since he wanted to be more religious. But Kim is not like that, though.
Yeah, but you have Drake, who's about as shallow as it comes, and I don't see him changing anytime soon. But he probably get into that family and probably want to change, because there's a difference in being shallow to a normal standard of Hollywood standards when it's convenient to be shallow.
Yeah.
But to be shallow on the level that the Kardashians are shallow,
yeah,
and maybe it probably would change your depiction of, okay, you guys on a whole nother fake level that I'm not even trying to be on. Maybe Drake will probably start descending like Kanye once to get deep into that family, because right now Drake is on the outside looking in as a horny 30-something-year-old, 34 I believe, who see Kim as, and most men see Kim, being honest, a nice little cute side piece to get with, do a little what, little hey.
But the thing is like Kim is...
but once you get in there, you'll be like, okay.
I feel like she has to be different than what she displays. I mean, I already know that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Everyone is.
Because why would Kanye suddenly do like a 180 soon after being with her for a while?
He did lose a lot of people behind getting with Kim. But if people... That tells you who your true friends are, because people won't stop being your friends because you dating someone they don't like. I mean... If my friend dated someone I didn't like, it depends what degree I don't like them. If they're killers and child rapists, okay, I'm not trying to be with you.
Yeah.
But if we just talking about the Stainers, the Kardashian, I won't stop being your friend. I mean, you're either my friend or you're not. So he learned who his true friends were when he got with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? A friend stay a friend with you to the end, not stop being friends with you. But did you have convenient friends? And there's a lot of convenient friends in Hollywood.
I call them fake friends.
Yeah, fake ass friends. And we know who these fake ass friends are, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, with that said, we're going to move right along here and talk about some more serious business, because I'm getting a headache talking about these knuckleheads. Not Kanye, because I'm a huge fan of Kanye, by the way. I'm biased as hell sometimes, I swear. People are like, do you ever say anything bad about him? I sure do. Him running for president for one was stupid.
I felt like he was joking, but people probably take it serious.
I think he was running for vice president, technically. Not president. Alrighty, and this part is about education. Education. With the COVID stuff, we're going to get very, very deep. Okay, so we'll be discussing a serious subject that often gets overlooked, you know?
Deep corruption of the education system.
Yeah, to begin, the education system was created to teach Puritan values, to read the Bible. Oh, yes. The first schools were mainly home-based. It was created by the first settlers of Massachusetts. But there were still schools for the elite. Of course, not surprised, right? They sent the kids to school for formal learning, but you can pretty much depict what formal learning that was.
The first free public school wasn't created until 1635. So imagine in low-income areas, there not being education at all, which was, by the way, supported by taxpayers' dollars, according to Michigan report.
Yeah, and then in 1837, Massachusetts created the first state board of education right after the first public schools were open for all ages. Did you guys know that?
If you think about it, school has not been around for that long.
No, it hasn't.
It's hard to imagine there being a time where there wasn't a place to learn.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, schools weren't made diverse until the 1830s anyway. But even then, segregation still happened despite making it possible for those of other races to attend. Then in 1867, the Federal Department of Education was established. This meant that education wasn't only handled by the states, but also by the government. You know what I mean? Which is a red flag right there.
But on the Department of Education's website, it says their goal is, and I quote, to promote student achievement and preparation for global competitiveness by fostering educational excellence and ensuring equal access.
Really?
But that's not what ended up happening.
No. You know, this leads me to the fact that in 1954, segregation in public education was unconstitutional. This also overturned the doctrine before it, separate but equal, which was in place since 1896, not long after slavery ended. Now, after this, a lot of other systems were put in place, like the free lunch program, No Child Left Behind, signed into law, pay attention, by George W. Bush in 2002. So you have 1896, drag that along to 2002. And this is pretty much making more public schools in all districts. So this was implemented in a lot of public schools.
Now, we tell you this to show you that how even in the beginning of school being created and board education being established, people of color were always an afterthought.
Yeah, as usual, I knew that.
For Common Core to negatively impact low-income areas, it isn't a surprise.
No, it isn't. You see, Common Core state standards created in 2013, and states use it in their evaluation programs. So that means uniform standards for states' learning is treated like one size fits all. It forces teachers into a box and pushes them to teach the same way, despite knowing that all students don't learn the same. It puts more attention on the skills and less on the content that needs to be learned and understood, which directly encourages fragmentation in learning. The important first step of the learning process, interest, is being skipped. And instead of learning topics, it's being taught in tiny slices to speed along the learning process. Screw the details that goes into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so true. And this kind of system discourages individuality and creative thinking by favoring non-fictional reading and pushing the students to focus on the standardized tests. It's inflexible for students with special needs.
Yeah.
Often perform under proficient in both English and math.
Right.
Teachers are pressured to teach using pencil and paper rather than enriching, explorative, experimental learning.
Yep.
They're pushed to teach as young as kindergarten students to focus more on their grades than rather than comprehending and learning how to add and subtract.
True.
Making them care more about being a cog in a system rather than an individual with separate thoughts and ideas. Common Core makes sporadic attitudes towards learning and teaching. Yet this is how it currently is, and now it's made worse with COVID.
Oh, yeah. And since the spike in COVID, schooling has moved to online, but many people tend to forget or ignore low-income families that don't have access to the internet. But who in the hell cares is what they're thinking. They are required to attend classes online when they don't have constant access to internet. And we know the cable companies are not compromising or care for that matter. And like I just said, there are many families that probably don't even own a computer or one that is reliable for the student to do their work. But they still must attend classes or they will end up falling behind. It seems this COVID pandemic that is a man-made, by the way, was created for many reasons, and this is one of them. To single out the minority, and we all know who most of the minority race is, don't we?
Yeah, and this And then the ones who were already struggling with comprehension because of Common Core, they would not be able to catch up at all.
Nope.
This is the reality of so many income families.
I don't even talk about the violence that's been seeped upon this whole thing. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway, you must wonder what is the true goal. I must agree with John Amos Comenius, the grandfather of modern education. Schools are really a slaughterhouse of the mind. Let me repeat that. Schools are really a slaughterhouse of the mind. Something I try to teach my truth seekers about learning. I try to teach you the truth about education. What its agenda is, period. Because their agenda is different from learning. They're trying to enlighten you. Let me move on here. Anyway, they make a generation of people who are going to be prepared for the world. They will come caring about a grade instead of making sure they've learned the concept of being taught. The schools was originally created with the idea of nurturing and maturing the human brain. Then why doesn't the education system focus on the experimental aspects of learning? See, this is important for many jobs today that require a creative approach. But again, they do this to single out a certain race or races of people. I think we know that by now.
Yeah.
I mean, because the school is literally a slave ground to create more slave workers. They're not teaching these kids to be leaders and start your empire. They're teaching you to be a worker. Get a degree and go work for someone. Not get a degree and build your own empire. They're teaching followers. They're not teaching leaders. And then the education system they're teaching is so outdated and so untrue and so ridiculous and manipulative. It's ridiculous. Okay, because he has a degree in history, or he has a degree in art history, or he has a degree in anything history, period. They all should take their asses back to school. Because it's apparently brainwashed, and they were taught by other brainwashed and stigmatized and biased racist people who had the agenda to liberate and annihilate the true race of people of the history they're trying to teach. So I got to believe what you say about my history, a black person, or a Native American history. No. Because what you are saying is not currently accurate.
Yeah.
But you're not willing to accept constructive criticism and be like, she's right. You know, maybe I need to go back and learn a little bit more. But people don't think that because they have pride or whatever. Yeah. So the school system right now is literally, it failed. The year of 2020, the school system has literally failed substantially. A lot of kids are suffering. A lot of kids are getting murdered. A lot of kids are getting sexually molested, raped. The shit I see on TikTok makes you want to throw up, you know. Like I said, I'm an emotional empath. I got to hurry up and skip past it because I was getting to, you know what I mean? But this is what's happening to our kids.
And it's so sad just thinking about...
No one's going to school anymore because they can't afford the online education. And they knew this shit.
And that's what's so... It seems so calculated when you really think about it. Because,
very calculating.
Because it... I kid you not, it only affects low-income areas. Because those students cannot go to school.
I know, they're left to just be out in the world in the way, and their parents don't care, and you know, and then you have the child care, and then whatever the government doing to help them. I'm not sure. I didn't dig that deep into it, but you can imagine the kids are suffering right now.
I mean, seriously, imagine being a student who pre-COVID, you was already falling behind. Your teacher wasn't even really teaching you the subject because you was like, what and how many students that she had that day. So teachers being heavily overworked. So you was already falling behind. Now COVID, okay, so now everything's online. Wait, you don't have a computer at home. So now you try to go to the library. But wait, a lot of people don't know this about the library. You can't just stay at a computer for that long.
No, you can't.
So
like about an hour, I believe. I haven't been to the library, and for the computer system, I go to check out books been out for the computer system. And I think they give you an hour.
I know you cannot stay.
Last time I checked.
I know you cannot stay at the computer that long.
No, and that's another thing. You would think they have some kind of some program attached. You know, just like the electric company, they don't cut you off for whatever. Or car companies, I believe they got into the mix and they can't blah, 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 blah. So they worked with the COVID. But the cable company who provided internet service, they're not working with anyone. You would think, okay, if you have a kid in your household who is going to school, we would work out some payment arrangement to keep you online so your kid can get educated. But the government has to comply with that, so the cable company won't go out of business. See, I don't think that was implemented during this whole COVID stuff. It's like, you got it, you can get it. It's like first come, first serve. It wasn't arranged or put together to benefit everyone, regardless of financial standards.
Yeah.
It was just put together for whoever can afford it, which is not fair. I mean, this goes to the border mess too. I mean, I don't even want to get into the border stuff because I'm starting to read things about Mexico, and I don't know if I'm reading it correctly, but you know part of Mexico is part of the U.S., right?
I know.
And I get into all that a little later, but that'd be another podcast, but I'm not liking what they're doing at the border. I hate it, and I hate what Camille said about the whole border things, getting off the subject, but I had to say this, get it out of my mind. Someone asked her if she gonna go to the border. You know what she said? Not today. Why? Paraphrasing, but that's literally what she said. She laughed.
I hope she was just saying it like as an offhanded thing and not as a...
I hope not. I'm like, woman, I did a video about you praising you. Know how ridiculed I got in the comment section doing anything positive about a female of that educational standards. Because you know the media don't find too well of women who has that much educational power and standards.
Yeah.
They call Michelle Obama a transsexual.
First of all, I think
anyone who has that much education and power is something wrong with them.
But I think a lot of that actually stems from just the fact that she's a female, yes, but she's more of a dark-skinned black female. Yeah,
but then they call Hillary Clinton. The stuff they call, oh god, they really need to research what this woman has done in there. I had to research. I'm like, you guys are so far off about this woman. It's not even close to being funny.
I know she have done so much, but then again, like
she did stuff that could have got her killed.
But the thing is, like, if I could find out that much just doing like just quick research.
They're not doing that though. They only believe the majority.
But a lot of people don't even bother to just at least type in their names and click a few articles, and then
I did a video about her, but they still was in denial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then they say Camilla. They say the same thing they say about all of them. Transsexual, she eat babies, or she trafficking, or some shit. Racist. I mean, the things they say about women is grotesque and horrific. But getting back to the schooling system, we definitely need Biden and all the rest of his educational board or whoever team need to get together with the online community systems, cable, Spectrum, AT&T. I don't even know who all out there right now. Need to get with them and work out a program, a treaty program, or whatever you guys freaking call it, COVID treaty, whatever. Get in line with them to work with the low-income families who can't access internet so they can have internet for kids that are in school. Until you get this COVID stuff, first of all, and I said this, and I am just so good. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but considering I'm always being ridiculed in the comment section, I do this to uplift my own confidence. Because reading the comment section, and my comments will make a sister want to jump off a bridge.
I don't blame you.
So I say this, and I see where Kanye's coming from. You need this. So, I'm going to say this. I said this to my husband. I said this to you. I said this to subscribers. Soon as it get intact that the COVID stuff starting to die out, what's going to happen?
I know.
The hospitals, which you have to understand, people, are getting funded. So you have hospitals who are literally getting out of business. This goes with the schooling system too. They were getting out of business. They were starting to lay people off because, people want to come to the emergency room or whatnot. So now, during the COVID system and the pandemic stuff, they were getting funded by the government. During the COVID, so they was steady work, steady paychecks. I think some of them got raises and whatnot. So they was getting steady work and paychecks. Hospitals weren't getting failure closing or closing departments or whatever the case may be. But now they're getting this money. So you have hospitals, you have nurses. You're like, oh, this COVID stuff is starting to decline. Oh, we can't have this. Oh, okay. We just tell them 50 million people came in and was sick of COVID and da. And we can get away with it because we get into cold and flu season. Spring is coming around the corner. So this is good. This is how people think sick people think. Yeah. So they stupid anyway now. They get a flu symptom or even pneumonia, which exists, by the way. You know, the flu and pneumonia still exist, and the cold, just saying. You know, they still exist, by the way. It's COVID. Okay. So the naiveness and the fact that people are so scared now because they're brainwashed because it's COVID stuff. So now they can't even get back to originality because they've been brainwashed for a year, you know, and the hospitals can get away with it.
Yeah.
So it's really freaking sad because kids are suffering. They can't go back to school because the hospitals are reporting false numbers. Biden just wants this thing to be over, so he's throwing money at it without step back. You would think Camilla, however you pronounce her name, who's a lawyer, and I believe Biden have law experience too. You would think they'd be like, okay, something's not right about this whole thing. You think this thought came into their brains by now?
But I think they're so busy with everything that they have to do that that's not even on their minds right now.
Well, they should. They can't keep throwing money at this. It's getting ridiculous. And now it's starting to become what a lot of us people fear, that you can't even get to play place A and place B without having some mark or some papers to say you're approved to even be able to walk down the street now.
I know.
I just read Walt Disney is doing facial recognition. They implement that now. This is where we're going. You know, and it's getting ridiculous. And they talking about putting that in schools too. Say it's getting to the point, I think Dunkin' Donuts say, they literally said this. If we give you free donuts, if you show papers that you got vaccinated.
Wow.
If that's not the mark of the beast, I don't know what it is. You know, so we're getting to the point where this is where it's starting to come from. Someone needs to take a step back, like, okay, something's not right about this COVID thing, because it outranks every pandemic in history, even AIDS, you know, cancer. No one's thinking. And Biden, he's so busy throwing money at it. Camilla, anyway, something's going on. Someone needs to be like, okay, stop, okay? I know we don't believe in conspiracy theories, but maybe we should start listening to what the hell they're saying. You know, like, seriously. Why, when we get wrap a head around it, this happens? It happened like 5 or 6 times, you know? It started way off, something happens. Now we got the schooling system, and then you have the age of the people who they want to go back to school. These are the age of people who are easily to be brainwashed and manipulated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not
teenagers or people of advanced ages who are allowed to depict from wrong from right. They put kids who are easily manipulated, you know, 14 and under, 12 and under. Isn't that the age that Elvis liked? Just saying.
Yeah.
Virgins, most of them. Not trying to say that's what they're doing, but it is a coincidence. Just saying. You know, they're going to be out there being, you know, never mind. I don't want to go there right now, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to end it here because you just giving me one word, so you're getting tired and you're scrumping in your seat. All right, we're out. And I just want to say stay safe and spread the word, people. I know I've heard in the comment section where people saying I tried to tell them about this pandemic, but a lot of people are getting vaccinated because they're literally forcing you as a mandatory thing to even live, to even go into a restaurant, to probably grocery shop, to do anything unless you show papers of being vaccinated, because the CDC, that's the agenda they're trying to pull. So I know it's scary out there, and I don't even know what to say, but just pray for each other and pray for the truth to finally be revealed, and pray that someone get in Biden's brain to stop what he's doing and really investigate this, because it's getting out of control. With that said, we're out, right?
All right. Bye.
Well, that's it for today's podcast. Tune in for Tuesday's podcast.
Oh, yes. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, and we have a lot more coming. No filter, especially you, Mom.
Anyway, talk to you all later.
Well, bye-bye.